Joining me now for more on this story, Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He, of course, the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. I want to start first, Congressman, with obviously you can't get into anything classified, but just how much this jives with what you know, or your assessment of the sort of contours of the overall story as they've been told in the press.
Well, you're right. I can't get into any classified information, but, look, the Russians and Putin in particular view the world in zero-sum terms. Anything that helps the United States is bad for Russia and vice versa. They have nothing but malevolent intent towards the United States. I think that also concerns our troops wherever they're stationed. And so we need to get to the bottom of these reports. I'm going to be briefed at the White House tomorrow. I'm asking that my entire committee be briefed by the intel agencies, and indeed the Speaker wants the whole House briefed, as is perfectly appropriate. But is this another situation where the president either was told and just rejects it, or his people are too scared to tell him because it contradicts this narrative of Vladimir Putin being his buddy? I watched the interview with Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, where he not only denied it, but he used profanity to deny it. And you know how that impresses Donald Trump when someone denies something strongly. After all, in Helsinki, when he was choosing between what his intelligence agencies were telling him and what Vladimir Putin was telling him, he made a particular point about talking about how strong Putin's denials were, as if that's somehow a good index of the truth. So we need to know, was the president informed about this? Were options presented to the president about this? Or are they simply afraid to present the president with anything he doesn't want to hear?
There was a strange briefing that happened today, of course, that you weren't included in. The White House briefed 8 House Republicans on the intel. Democrats are scheduled tomorrow. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe this is fairly standard operating procedure for this kind of thing, but I can't recall something like that. What is going on there?
It's not standard operating procedure. At least it certainly shouldn't be. Those briefings should be done on a bipartisan basis. Now, I did have some communication from the White House today, and I expect tomorrow we will get a briefing of some of the Democratic national security chairs. But it really ought to be done in a nonpartisan way with both parties represented. It's important, frankly, that we hear the same information. That's why, these briefings, we try to do these all on a bipartisan basis in our committee. At the moment, the Republicans are boycotting the briefings that we are doing. But it's really, beneficial, frankly, to make sure that neither party is getting a different take from either intelligence leaders or the White House.
Wait, the Republicans are boycotting the briefings in your committee right now?
They have been, yes, and we're not quite sure why. They don't have much of an explanation for it, but we've had important briefings on national security issues. We have another one coming up this week, and for whatever reason, they've decided en masse they're not going to attend, and so they're ignoring the work of the committee.
Wait a second. A boycott doesn't work unless you articulate the reason for your boycott so that the people you're boycotting can concede to your demands. What you're saying is they're boycotting your committee briefings but not telling you why?
Yes, we've got no explanation. Now, I saw one of the members try to explain that they don't think that it's secure enough, but these briefings are unclassified material. In fact, some of these briefings are open hearings, and they're still not even attending even the open hearings for the public. So I'm not sure how to explain it. I think it's very childish. But the more fundamental point, whether it's the work of our committee or it's a briefing from the White House, these really ought to be done on a nonpartisan basis so that all the members are operating from good information.
What is the next step here? If there's two pressing matters here, right? Like, did the president know about this, his administration know about this, and do nothing? And in fact, as Senator Murphy said, essentially give a green light to bounties on the heads of American servicemen and women. And also, what to be done now, if in fact that has happened, and what the implications of that are? What is your feeling about that?
Well, I think what we need to do is we need to get an explanation, a briefing from the intelligence community leadership. What do they know these allegations? What kind of confidence do they have in what they may or may not know about these allegations? And Have there been policy debates within the administration about what they're planning to do if they're going to sit on their hands because this president can't stand up to Vladimir Putin? Congress needs to take steps to protect our troops and to protect our national interest. You know, we have seen time and time again this president put his own personal interest above those of the nation. This may be another example of the president doing that, or it may be another example of intelligence community or other leadership simply afraid to confront the president. We've already seen how there's a reluctance to brief the president on Russian interference in our election. He doesn't want to hear it. He thinks it's all a hoax. Is this an extension of that denial of reality by the president?
Huh. All right, Congressman Adam Schiff, the chair of the House Intelligence Committee, thank you so much for